Sebastian is a German YouTuber who tells a story about a locksmith in Munich named Hans Wagner. Hans was a hard-working man, but after his wife and son tragically passed away, he dedicated himself to creating his greatest masterpieces, 4 safes. There's a legend that says if anyone tries to force open these safes, the contents inside will be destroyed. Hans even built one final safe, locked himself inside, and died. Despite efforts to free him, no one could open it, so his tomb was sunk into the sea. 3 of Hans's safes, named Rheingold, Valkyrie, and Siegfried, are still out there, but no one knows exactly where. The 4th safe, called Götterdämmerung, has completely disappeared. Sebastian ends his video by asking viewers to like and subscribe. As the video uploads, he solves a lock on his desk in just 8 seconds, feeling proud. But despite his lock-picking skills, he can't figure out how to succeed on YouTube. Afterward, he goes about his usual boring life, getting coffee, opening the bank, and dealing with rude customers. One day, during lunch, he checks his channel and sees his first comment and view. He's thrilled. The comment invites him to test his skills at a secret location. That evening, Sebastian goes to the location and gives the password to a big tough guy at the door. Inside, he's the last person to join a safe-cracking competition. Confused, he tries to talk to another competitor, but he's ignored. The host announces that only 4 people will make it to the next round, so Sebastian gets to work and barely makes it to 4th place. In the next round, Sebastian is up against the best, including a competitor named Neo. Neo finishes first, and Sebastian comes in second. In the final round, they have 3 minutes to open a door. Neo is confident, but Sebastian takes a different approach. He watches Neo, touches the door, and seems to study the mechanics. With just 30 seconds left, he finally starts and opens the safe with a second to spare. Neo tries to attack him, but the big tough guy stops him. The crowd cheers, and through the noise, Sebastian notices a woman named Gwendolyn, who will eventually change his life. Later that night, Sebastian places his award next to his family photos, proud of what he's accomplished. The next morning, while getting coffee, Gwendolyn surprises him and he spills it on himself. She reveals that she was the one who left the comment on his video. When he asks who she is, she replies, "I'm the woman who's going to change your life." She explains that she's been watching him for a while and knows he's always alone. In just 7 minutes at the cafe, she managed to steal a woman's ring, a man's watch, and even a gun from someone in the back. Gwendolyn is an internationally wanted thief, and she wants to recruit Sebastian. She needs his knowledge of Hans Wagner because the safes he created are about to be decommissioned in Geneva in 96 hours due to the outbreak in America. This is his chance to crack the 3 remaining safes. Gwendolyn gives him an address to visit if he decides to join the team. Later, after watching the news about the situation in America, Sebastian makes his decision. When he shows up at the address, Gwendolyn introduces him to the rest of the crew. Karina, a logistics expert and master hacker, Rolf, the getaway driver, and Brad Cage, a real-life action hero inspired by Nicolas Cage movies. Together, they plan to crack the 3 remaining Wagner safes. The Rheingold is in Paris with 413 million combinations. The Valkyrie is in Prague with 235 billion combinations, and the Siegfried is in St. Moritz, Switzerland, with 72 trillion combinations and possibly up to $100 million inside. All the vaults are owned by the infamous billionaire Bly Tanaka. With no time to waste, the team heads to Paris for their first heist. Just as they're about to target a credit union, Sebastian starts having doubts. Gwen walks him through the plan again. Sebastian will go in first and head straight to the bathroom. Gwen follows, takes the guard's key, and requests access to a safety deposit box under a fake name. Meanwhile, Karina enters, and since she speaks English, the cashier helps her. During this time, Gwen sneaks out, grabs Sebastian, and together they head down to the vault. Everything goes smoothly, and soon they find themselves in front of the Rheingold vault. Before Sebastian starts cracking the safe, he gets distracted telling Gwen the story behind it. Gwen, uninterested, urges him to start. Finally, he plays a piece of music called Das Rheingold and begins his work. After some tense moments, the locks click into place and the vault opens. Sebastian and Gwen are thrilled. She tells him it's not about the money, it's about becoming legends. Though Sebastian is tempted to kiss her, he holds back, and they walk out successfully, completing their first heist. At the same time, Interpol agent Delacroix learns about the team's robbery. Another agent, Beatrix, wonders why this matters during a zombie apocalypse in America, but Delacroix remains focused on stopping the thieves. Interpol knows they are after more vaults and only has 2 more chances to catch them. Later, the team relaxes by playing beer pong. Brad shows off with a perfect behind-the-back shot. Meanwhile, Sebastian bonds with Rolf over sandwiches and chats with Karina, who flirts with him. However, Sebastian's attention is on Gwen. Karina casually mentions that Gwen and Brad are dating, though their relationship is on shaky ground. That night, Sebastian visits Gwen in her room. She explains Brad's name, joking that if Brad Pitt and Nicolas Cage had a child, it would be Brad Cage. She admits Brad is a narcissist. Sebastian shares a childhood story about how he wished he had a cool name like Ludwig Dieter. They talk for hours, mostly about Gwen's life, with Sebastian quietly admiring her. In the meantime, Brad grows angry, suspecting something is going on between Gwen and Sebastian. Gwen asks Sebastian to sit with her and reveals that once they finish their mission, she wants to go to Nevada, where rumors say the 4th vault, Gotterdammerung, is hidden. The next day, the crew travels to Prague, where Delacroix is waiting for them. Brad continues to be hostile towards Sebastian. At their next bank, Sebastian, despite his nerves, is confident he can crack the next safe made by Hans Wagner. He enters the bank, posing as an accountant, and Karina uses her hacking skills to make sure his fake ID works. She guides him through the building, but soon she has to cut off communications. Lost without her guidance, Sebastian accidentally enters the wrong room, and the guards notice something suspicious on the security cameras. Eventually, Sebastian meets Gwen in the elevator, and they make their way to the vault. When the doors open, they're confronted by 2 guards, but Gwen takes them down effortlessly with her martial arts skills. Sebastian then starts working on the Valkyrie vault. He begins telling Gwen another story about the mythology behind the safe, but they're running out of time. Meanwhile, Interpol hasn't found them yet, but Delacroix starts to suspect that the team is already inside the bank. The guards lock all the doors, and Karina realizes their plan has been compromised. It's time for Plan B. Luckily, Interpol raids the wrong bank, as the crew had cleverly switched their target to a more secure location. Brad enters the building wearing a mask, knocking out guards with tranquilizer darts and taking down others in hand-to-hand combat. Sebastian continues working on the vault, but his first attempt fails, causing the handles to retract. If he makes another mistake, the vault will lock permanently. Under pressure, Sebastian keeps going and finally cracks the safe, unlocking its treasure. The team celebrates, but Karina reminds them over the comms that time is running out. Gwen and Sebastian quickly fill their bags and head for the exit. Brad, about to make his own escape, is confronted by a security guard. After a brief fight, Brad gets shot but manages to leap out of a window. As the getaway car begins to move, Gwen and Sebastian try to jump in. Brad helps Gwen into the car, but when Sebastian reaches out for Brad's hand, Brad cruelly throws him out instead of pulling him in. The rest of the team looks shocked and upset, but the car speeds away, leaving Sebastian behind. The police are chasing Sebastian, and in a rather embarrassing moment, he tries to steal a bike. Despite the clumsy attempt, he manages to swipe it from a random passerby. I'll spare you the details of his bicycle acrobatics, but he eventually escapes by riding down a narrow road and jumping onto a moving train. In the van, Karina informs the team that Sebastian hasn't been caught, or at least it hasn't been announced yet. The real plan was to cut Sebastian loose after the final heist, but Gwen is upset that Brad threw him out like he was expendable. Even Rolf had started to like him. Gwen is worried about how they will manage the next vault, Siegfried, without Sebastian, but Brad brushes it off, saying they have enough money to retire twice. For Gwen, though, it's never been about the money. In a last-ditch effort, Brad tells Gwen he loves her, but she doesn't care and walks out. Karina follows Gwen, determined to figure out a way to crack the next vault. Sebastian, having somehow made it home, doesn't notice that Gwen and Karina are already there waiting for him. After some discussion about what to do next, they decide on a surprise approach. Karina yells, "Surprise!" causing Sebastian to spill his hot drink on himself. Gwen apologizes, but Sebastian says it doesn't matter whether he forgives them or not. They'll leave, and he'll go back to his boring life. Gwen then gives a heartfelt speech, telling him how much she needs him, and that only he can crack the next safe. She emphasizes that they are about to make history. Sebastian, after taking a sip of his drink, agrees and asks what the plan is. Meanwhile, Interpol agent Delacroix decides to do some research on YouTube. He searches for Hans Wagner and stumbles upon Sebastian's video. He quickly realizes that Sebastian is the same person involved in the recent heist. The strange part is that the video was uploaded just a minute ago, but the comment on it is from 2 weeks ago. Sebastian dreams of zombies, and when he wakes up, they're on their way to St. Moritz, the location of the final vault. Interpol agents are patrolling every corner of the casino where the vault is located, and the vault is set to be transferred in 2 hours. Interpol intercepts an encrypted message from the crew stating they will strike the casino at 5 a.m. Suspicious, they wait until 5 a.m. and enter the casino. The manager informs them that they were already aware of the risk and have taken action. When asked who tipped them off, the manager says it was Interpol and that the vault was removed an hour and a half ago. Delacroix realizes they've been tricked. 8 hours earlier, Karina had called the casino manager to reschedule the vault transfer. Meanwhile, Gwen sneaked into a car, knocked out 2 guards, and left them on the side of the road. The crew made sure Interpol intercepted their fake message. They successfully retrieved the Siegfried vault from the casino and loaded it onto a truck, with Gwen and Sebastian disguised as guards. Back in the present, as they're driving, Sebastian warms up, puts on some music, and begins telling Gwen the story of the Siegfried vault while working on cracking it. Meanwhile, the police leave the casino, and Brad is furious, thinking the team betrayed him, which they didn't, as they had already parted ways. Brad uses a tracking app to find Gwen's location. Karina notices and tries to stop him, but the police catch her before she can fully intervene. She manages to send a final message to Gwen before being apprehended. Sebastian is working on the 6th of 7 safe handles as they navigate sharp turns on the road. With a final slap on the vault, the gears click into place, and he successfully cracks the Siegfried. Just then, Brad and the police catch up to them. As they open the vault and start filling their bags, Brad shows up, turning from action hero to villain. He tries to shoot Sebastian, but Gwen had already removed the firing pin. She and Brad argue, and Sebastian, unable to take it anymore, lunges at Brad and punches him. After the fight, Gwen ties Brad to the truck, and she and Sebastian escape. The police arrest Brad and Rolf, and Gwen is pleased that Sebastian at least tried to defend her. He tells her that he really likes her, and despite the awkward timing, they share a kiss. With the money, they head to the boat to make their escape. However, Delacroix catches up to them, leading to a standoff. Gwen offers Delacroix a deal. He can take her if he lets Sebastian go. Delacroix agrees, but Sebastian refuses to leave without her. Gwen insists, telling him they will find each other again and solve the Gotterdammerung vault together. After some hesitation, Sebastian finally boards the boat. As he looks at his fake passport with the name Ludwig Dieter, he realizes that Gwen had bought him a ticket to the same place she's going. Heartbroken, he sails away, knowing she was the one person he truly wanted to be with. Deep down, he's certain they will reunite and solve the Gotterdammerung vault together. Sometime later, in California, a man and a woman walk into a locksmith shop and find Sebastian. They show him the blueprints for the Gotterdammerung vault and ask if he can crack it. He smiles.
If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.